unique challenges that Black female students encounter, but based on what you know. From left to right again, please.
I think one of the things that came across this morning and that I really started thinking about in my work is the reality that our systems are using stereotypes to design interventions for our girls and not facts. And I thought I would just tell a story to illustrate that. I used to represent students in expulsion proceedings. So when students are expelled from school, before that happens, by due process, you have to go through a hearing, and I would go with them to those hearings and advocate on the students' behalf. One of the first cases I had was a girl who had been, her expulsion proceeding was coming about because she had been in a fight. And so I went to the school to try and figure out what had happened, try to talk to teachers and figure out what was going on, why are they moving for expulsion over this fight. And everyone I talked to said again and again, oh, she's angry, she's rude, she's aggressive, we don't know what to do with her. Over and over again, that was the whole narrative that I was hearing, and unfortunately, in almost all the cases, that was the narrative that is being told about the girl who's about to be expelled. And then I did a home visit, and when I did the home visit, I found out a lot more about her. That she had done really well in school early on, that she had all these different talents, but also that I pretty quickly found out her family was going through a domestic abuse situation where her father had at one point approached her mom at gunpoint in front of the kids. And it happened about 2 weeks before her fight at school. So that seems like a situation where a trained educator would know this is a response to trauma. And it's a pretty quick response, so you know that it's very much related. And instead, that was not the narrative that was being told. When we went into the hearing, I presented that story, the backstory of what was going on that no one at school seemed to know. And the hearing officer at the end of the day said to the girl, when you experience a situation like that, there's two ways you can react. You can lash out, or you can go inward. And you chose to lash out, and that's why I'm going to expel you. Too often that is happening, and it seems like an extreme example, but I've seen so many cases like that, where there's just a lack of understanding for the way trauma is impacting our girls. And instead, a narrative is being put in place that is not based on the specific individual facts of what's going on with that student, but based on stereotypes. So that's one thing I think that we need to be working on a lot. And I would say lastly that in a way, we also are complicit in this narrative and are not doing enough to disrupt it.
But, it really came to fruition when I was in college. I went to Pratt Institute. I studied industrial design, which encompasses furniture, automotive design, and product design. And I had some friends who were either working for footwear companies while they were in school, and another one that was recruited out of college. So, we remained close, and I watched what they were doing. And what I loved most about footwear was the fact that, it's got a technical aspect to it. You're constantly working on new projects. And, you have the opportunity to travel the world. Because the factories, that most people were working out of at that time were in Asia. So I really wanted to see the world. It was perfect. And how does that travel inform your design? It's amazing. I mean, there's nothing like traveling the world. You really get a sense of what's happening culturally, how people use products, what really works in your market versus somebody else's market, but you can take little elements from all over the world, there's nothing like it, there's really nothing like it. And how much competition? I mean, look, women in shoes, crazy. Yes, I don't have to tell you, of course. You have the big names out there. How difficult is it for a young woman to get into the footwear industry? At my core, I'm a businesswoman, so it's really about determining what the white space was. And being in this position position where I've had the opportunity to travel the world as a woman, as a designer, as a businesswoman. You get to go to the most fantastic stores that you could ever imagine. So 10 Corso Como Milan, you're at Colette in Paris. And personally, I amassed so many pairs of shoes. But the problem is that I brought them back to New York, and to actually wear them in a place like New York, where it's a pedestrian city, it was really a challenge. So that meant I'd spend a ton of money at Leather Spa, which was formerly shoe service, stretching the shoes, resoling the shoes, trying to make them comfortable, padding the shoes, and they still wouldn't work. So, as a businesswoman, I thought, okay, what's the white space here? What would set my brand apart? So I really wanted to create a collection of product, of shoes, and we're going to branch out into other avenues in the fashion world, but really footwear is our main focus, but create a collection of shoes that were wearable, transitional, that really worked for me. I'm a size 10. So, you go into these stores and you see beautiful product, but something that's